Hello, hello. Happy Sunday Fun Day. Welcome back. This is your July 9th greenhouse update tour. We just did a tour of the garden and I harvested a few things. There's more to harvest out there, but I've been really bad about it this year. Lots of changes in here, as you can probably tell right away. The tire planters are gone. The sunflowers did end up reaching the roof. Had to be taken out before they could flower. They were just too tall. I need to learn my lesson about sunflowers. It's dwarf varieties. When I have limitations, there's dwarf varieties only. My mint, this pineapple mint, it's so beautiful. It's variegated. It smells really nice. I'm excited to make some tea, mint tea out of that. Should harvest some of that too. It's doing well. Some of the houseplants are doing good. I did a tray of propagations, just like succulents, and they all seem like they're doing pretty good for the most part. A few getting discolored, like these little trims of the jade, but that's okay. I'll just get rid of these yucky ones and try again. This has just been living its best life in here. I bought this a couple years ago. It overwintered in the greenhouse. It's rosemary. It's fantastic. Put up a few hangers here. The string of hearts that I bought is starting to flower. Like, is that a flower? Am I the only one that sees that? It's pretty cool. I really like that plant. I'm gonna murder it when I bring it inside. We have the wall, the little shelf of houseplants and tropicals doing well too. The Hoyas are loving it in here. This is just, I think, my favorite plant right now. Step into the greenhouse and it's always got new growth on it. And it's always so pretty. It's called White Butterfly. And I was really happy to see my orchids that I've been rehabbing. This guy is putting a root out of the butt here of this pot. So they're making a comeback. Also, I stole a cutting from a dentist office of this little ZZ plant. And it has been in this state for 6 months or more. Just a stem in some dirt. I don't know if it's ever going to turn into something. I got this guy on sale, this little Hoya Curtsy. Happy about that. Everything else doing pretty good. This Hoya is absolutely loving it in here. It is beautiful as well. Oh, and our little guy still making a comeback. Don't know how I feel about this. It's a weird jade plant that, I don't know, it's holding on for dear life. Cacti, obviously really love it in here. Some of these salad buckets that I planted, it's just too hot in here. Like this kale is doing okay, but it's got aphids. You see? You can see that. Yeah, look at the aphids. So I've been trying to spray it. I have these beneficial insects in here, but it's been a losing battle, it seems, this year. Some more lettuce, some of the dwarf kale. Looks like some tomatoes. Ooh, a treat. I love that. Some tomatoes are ready here. This is the Tumbling Tom tomato plant. Oh, these, I can smell them. They smell so good. Just gonna put them in my pocket for later. This all needs to get dug out, just like this and this side, because I'm actually planning to completely rip out this L bed and make it a U bed. So a U bed that goes around all the way across the back and then down this way, so the center is open and I have more planting space. This original L bed was here before the redesign. So I don't know if you remember, but I have a video on my channel. It's called Building a Greenhouse. And that was when the fence and the old lean-to were here. And it was a white fence and white lean-to. And it only went to here. Okay, so we had a tiny little skinny little greenhouse before. And then when I did the update, we got all this extra space. We bumped it out a bit. But I never took out the original L bed because I built this in. Like, it is built into the ground. It is solid. It has been here forever. It was one of the first things I built for this little greenhouse before the redesign, and it needs to come out now. It has served me well, but its time is up, and I need a big girl greenhouse now, which is why there are so many changes. That's why all of these little buckets are going. Not that there's anything wrong with these buckets. These were fabric pots, square fabric pots put into crates. And I really liked it because I always have a problem moving the fabric pots. They rip, or they're just too heavy or whatever. Like, they are awkward. When they're in the crates like this, it's so easy to move them and lift them. I prefer it much, much more. So that's why they're in there like that. But I'm going to be moving a lot of them. And this is what I'm actually the most excited to show you today. First of all, let's kick this. She's full. She got a lot in there. Oh yeah. You can't see it, but the back wall has been updated of the greenhouse. It's not something I show very often. And back here is like 80% done. So we got rid of all the sticks. We laid down 4 yards of mulch, which is insane. Finally, that weird hump in the middle is kind of normal. We've got the composter out here for some of the bigger yard scraps. Very pleased about that. Small pile of wood here. There are wild garlic. All the little white dots you see, that's wild garlic. Somebody asked me, why don't you eat that? Unfortunately, that's my neighbor's side. That's my other neighbor's side. And up there are train tracks. Everybody in this neighborhood, for some reason, has been treating this back area of their property like a dumping ground. So if you just like quickly walk over here, you'll see we've got an old metal freezer. We got, let me see, like a soccer ball in there. Trash. There's an old tree house in there that's falling apart. There's just cement blocks. And yeah, it's everyone throws their trash here and nobody cares, which is funny because there's a dump less than 15 minutes away. Picnic table came from Facebook Marketplace. It was $170 delivered to my door. It's an 8-person picnic table. I sanded it down and I am just working on staining and painting. So I have to go to the hardware store today or tomorrow and get some more of this espresso. That's what it's called. This is what it looked like before. The reason why I decided to go a darker stain was because of all of these little, I don't even know what to call it, imperfections. Like, you can see it looks mucky. So I stained it and it still looks mucky. But now it at least matches the greenhouse door. I'm going to do this guy espresso as well. And I think I'm going to paint the legs white because I saw that online. It looked really good. The greenhouse update that I was saying, this wall used to be all vapor barrier plastic. Now it is windows. So these will slide up in the fall to close. You can see I've got nice screens here. I had to replace the screens on these two, but now there's so much more airflow. Oh, it's so nice. That last window unfortunately doesn't open. I mean, it does, but then it's like extremely difficult to close. So I decided just to leave that one closed forever and ever. Amen. And then I have 2 extra windows back there just in case something happens. This used to be in the greenhouse as well, but now I've got this lovely little corner for storage of all my pots because it doesn't need to be in the greenhouse. It's taking up valuable growing space. I'm sure you can understand if you're a person who gardens at the small garden. And then, like I said, I'm taking a bunch of the buckets and stuff slowly out here to make more gardens. And I'm going to plant some shade perennials eventually. And these things, I'm probably going to just like go crazy on sedums because I don't have to water them or anything. And then, yeah, this is just the mess that we cleaned up. The mess pile that was once a mess pile, no longer a mess pile. But that's why we don't grow food back here. I'm going to have to take out the tomatoes. I think I'm going to leave the mint, the chocolate mint I have there. Take a cutting, start some in the greenhouse in a pot. Those are some broccolis that were in the greenhouse. Like, these guys haven't gotten watered, so they're wilty right now. And this is a malva that I started from seed. This one is a perennial, I think. So it'll just come back anyway. Also looks like it wants some water. Sorry. But yeah, since this was a massive trash pile, we do not eat the food from here. And I really wanted to move the tire planters out here because I didn't want to grow food in tires. It is a big debate online whether or not food that you grow in tires is good or not, because there are so many chemicals and whatever in tires. And the debate really is whether or not it's safe, because the chemicals in tires break down over a very long time span. So if you're growing, let's say, tomatoes in there, you're only growing tomatoes in there for about 6 months or less, and then they come out. So a lot of people say, oh, well, they don't have time to suck up the carcinogens or whatever, you know, the toxic whatevers from the tires. I had them in the greenhouse and I just really didn't like the way they smelled. So when the greenhouse would heat up, it would smell like a tire shop in there. Like, you could smell, like, not burning rubber, but you could smell like a rubbery smell. So I really just wanted to move these out and repurpose these. So we're not growing food in these. We'll just be growing some perennial shade plants. I may take some shade plants from my front garden in my front yard. I have some ferns and some heucheras and stuff growing up there. So I might just take some cuttings and put them in here. But I'm also going to go shopping because your girl can't resist a trip to the greenhouse. These are getting shaded out, unfortunately. There's some invasive Virginia creeper. And I found out this, which is the next project, okay? Look at this guy. This guy who is looming over here, he is holding on to a dead tree. There's another dead tree in there that he's grabbing onto. Tried to figure out what this thing was, okay? And I figured it out. Did some online sleuthing. See this right here? Those are grapes. This is a wild grapevine. Look at all the grapes up there. Can you see them? Oh my goodness. There are so many grapes. Not sure if it's edible. If anybody knows anything about wild grapevine, could you leave me a comment? Either way, like I said, it's just a trash pile back here, and the train tracks and rail ties are toxic as well. You don't want to be growing where there's rail ties. So ultimately, I'm not going to be eating the wild grapes, but I think it's very cool that wild grapes are here. And like, just look at this monstrosity. It is so tall. It's taller than, look, it's growing on that dead tree branch all the way up there. This wild grape is going to bring down a tree one day, which is why I want to trim this up. You can see too, it's kind of over top of like the pathway in my side. So I'm going to just trim my side, and my neighbor can do whatever she wants. I have a feeling the answer will be that she does nothing. Maybe throws more garbage. But yeah. Oh, these are the other two trees we need to figure out how to take down. This big dead guy and that one there. The issue is there's sticks leaning over the greenhouse, and we don't exactly know how we're going to get them down yet. We would hope to fall them that way, but then they're going to get caught on other trees. I might have to hire somebody to come and cut them because they're kind of intimidating. I'm going to cut that one at the stump there. Like, I'm going to cut it kind of high. Well, I want to cut it high because I have a birdhouse my mom made me that I would love to put there. It used to be in the yard, but I had a tree stump that was decaying and was no longer solid. So the whole stump, it was like that. The whole stump and treehouse came down, or not treehouse, sorry, birdhouse, that was in my yard. So I need to find another stump to put it on, at least for a couple of years, until that stump decays and just falls out of the ground. But I think it would look really cute back here. Anyway, that is your greenhouse update for the day. It's more than just a greenhouse update though, because I did come back here to show you the back area, which is now my little foresty cottage core garden. Lots of changes happening in here. I imagine it's gonna be kind of slow because my back hurts from this past week of doing the back area. So I'm just like slowly moving things, slowly moving those. I wanna move all the fabric pots from the yard too. So yeah, it's a work in progress. This guy, he's a sleepy doggo on a Sunday. You sleepy on a Sunday? You're a good boy. All right, we'll catch you next time. Bye.